Shoftim. Mr. Hashem will finish it today. We're on Perek Hey, Pasuk Chav Ches, where Torah is discussing the activities of Yoel when she killed Sisera. And now in Pasuk Chav Ches, she is going to contrast that with the behavior of the mother of Sisera. And you'll see some very interesting lessons coming through here. So on Pasuk Chav Ches. Ba'ad hachalon nishkeva, she looked through the window, v'tiyabev eim Sisera ba'ad ha'eshnov, and the mother of Sisera, tiyabev, she cried, she sobbed through the window. And she said, Madua boshesh richbo lavo, why has his chariot delayed in coming? Madua echaru pamei markavosav, why have the steps of his chariot, why have they been echaru, why have they come late? So what's going on over there? Let's just see. So we'll take a look at the Malbim's interpretation over here. And there's a few things to notice. There's two references to a window. First, it's called chalon, ba'ad ha'chalon, and then ba'ad ha'eshnov. That's number one. And the second thing is, again, two expressions of delaying, boshesh richbo lavo, and echaru pamei markevosav. So let's see how the Malbim handles this. So Malbim explains the difference between a chalon and an eshov. Is that an eshov is what we would call like a crystal ball, a sorcerer's window. So it's a type of a window that's made with wisdom, and she's able to do some kind of sorcery to see, like a crystal ball. You look in a crystal ball, you want to see what's going on. So there were such things. So she wanted to know what happened to him. So it says in the beginning, she looked through the window. Looked through the window. She wants to see him through the window. He's not coming through the window. So then she looked in the Eshranov. She looked in the crystal ball. And then she starts crying. Because in other words, she didn't cry the first time. The first time she didn't cry. She says, Barach Halom Nishkava. Well, then it says, Vatiyabev. Right. So Be'ad Halom Nishkava. Okay. But so she's looking through both. So, and she starts crying out, as we will see, because she looked through this sorcerer's window and she sees her son is lying on the ground. And she sees a woman standing over her, smashing his head, and blood's coming from his head. And she sees all kinds of dead people where their necks are red. That's what she saw in the crystal ball. Exactly what happened when she saw in the crystal ball. So that's what it means that she looked through the window, right? And now the second half of the verse corresponds to the beginning of the verse. She looks through the window and says, Madua boshesh richbo lavo. She's looking through the regular window. Why is his chariot late? And then it says, and she cried. She cried through the Eshnov, looking through that window, and then says, why has his chariots, the footsteps of his chariot been delayed? So as we've already learned from the Malbim, there's also a difference between the word echar and the word boshesh. They don't mean the same thing as well. And boshesh means that he's been delayed more than normal, and ma'acher is he's later than the designated time that he should have come back by then. So therefore, that once that time passed must be, there's a reason why he's been delayed. And then they add the words pa'amei markavosav, that even if they took his chariot, at least he could have run. Okay, even if it took longer, even if he was running, he would have made it by now. So if he had a chariot and he wins, he'd get quicker. So he's been delayed. He says he's way past the time. So that means even through walking he should make it. So then she looks through the thing and then she sees that he's dead. That's how it looks like. So, but she's not satisfied with that. She probably told it to her friends. Says, "Oi, I looked at my crystal ball. It looks like he's finished." So then Pasuk of Tesed says, "Chachmos tzaroseh taneno," the wisdom of the noble women responded to her. Afhi tashiv amareh lo, and she also responded herself and saying. In other words, what happened is she told her friends about this, and each one wanted to comfort her, to try to explain away what she saw as, no, that could be good, it's not necessarily bad. Remember, it's not necessarily, it's like a nevuah, it's like a prophecy. It's not exactly, it could be a code.
Or a dream, yeah.
It's not exactly the way you see it 100%, it could be a code to something else. And she heard that from them, and she figured the same thing. She said, yeah, you're right. And they said the following, and that's going to be Pasuk Lamed is their explanation. Right? So in other words, she wanted to translate what the crystal ball saw for the good, and she does the same thing. So what is that? Pasuk Lamed. So they said, Halo yimtzu yichalku shalol. There's a lot of explanations over here. And these are the words of the comfort. They said, probably they found, didn't they find and split up a lot of the loot? They're probably very busy, dividing up the loot. That takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
They're rich Jews, right? So that will delay them for sure. And more than that, racham osayim, word racham from a womb, from the female reproductive organ. And of course, what do you think they do? They probably all took some pretty women and have been enjoying themselves. That takes some time also.
Time, yeah.
Right. And then they talk about, so that's l'rosh gever, meaning for each man. So racham osayim l'rosh gever. Each man is taking a couple women, a woman or two. And then shlal tziva'im l'sisra. Then part of the loot, or the tziva'im, is like different kinds of colored garments, expensive colored garments as part of the loot. L'sisra, go to Sisra, because that's probably more expensive stuff, and he was saying that. Shlal tziva'im rikma, different types of colored weaved items. Seva rikmasayim l'tzavre shalal, different colored weavings for the necks that would go around their necks would be part of the loot. So, in other words, the most expensive stuff would be given to Sisro since he is the man in charge. So he's going to get the most loot than anyone else. And, it just goes into little detail, how well colored they are on both sides. So it's all kinds of detail into what type of loot they took. So they're basically explaining that he's got good reason. It's for good reason he's being delayed. And the Malbim, really goes through the whole thing and explaining how each clause is explaining what was seen in the dream, how they interpreted each word in the dream to be something okay. So the fact you saw a man lying in the ground with blood, that's just an allegory. That the crystal ball is showing a loot. Loot is an analogy to a person who's dead. That's like the loot. In other words, your victim has been conquered and he's dead, so now there's a lot to take. And that's what it means. So loot is used, an allegory for the loot is the man that's dead.
The spoils of war.
Yeah, so spoils. So we spoiled the enemy, and now we get the spoils of war. Exactly. And so the loot is the man lying on the ground, and the fact you see a woman over him, that's what they're saying. That they now are taking the women.
Pleasure, yeah.
And the fact you see all kinds of red and all that stuff around his neck, and blood and all that stuff, it's because he's wearing these red, embroidered, beautiful pieces of weave things that are around him. So Bekitzer Maisa, she went and touched up, she explained the whole dream in a way that says, don't worry, everything's not so bad at all, everything's going to be fine. So you have nothing to worry about. So that was Pasuk Lamed. Yeah. So and then and now we're on the final pasuk of the Shira. So there's the contrast, and we will explain. So it's interesting. So how is this mother comforting herself? He's late because my son is a real immoral guy.
Yeah.
He's busy,
looting
and pillaging and raping and this and that. It's okay. I feel good. I know my husband's raping other women.
Yeah.
He's murdered other men. He's produced a lot of orphans and widows. And that makes her feel good.
That's comforting.
As opposed to Yael.
But why introduce all this in this?
You're going to see in a minute.
Oh, okay.
Very important what you're going to see. And as that happened to them, she concludes her Shira and says, Kain Yovdu Chol Oyevecha Hashem. And so shall be lost all who hate you, Hashem. Like anyone else who hates you, this should happen to them. And those who love Hashem, should be compared to the sun as it comes up in its full strength, as it comes the early morning glory of the sun. And that's the ones who love you should be like that. And that really is the end of the Shira. And the last 4 words is just a fact. Vatishka ha'aretz 40 shana, and the land was quiet for 40 years. So, what does it mean? So shall happen to all you who are the enemies of Hashem. So we alluded to it yesterday. So Sisra becomes like the analogy for all enemies of Hashem. It's just like what happened to him, right? So I'm saying you would think that Sisra was only an enemy of the Jews. So he says, no, so is true to all those who are enemies of Hashem. That anybody who hates, the Fri May says, anyone who hates the Jewish people, it's like someone who hates God. And therefore, the end of such a person has to be destroyed. There's no place in God's world for these people. And that's why she calls him an enemy of God, not an enemy of the Jewish people. Right? On the other hand, those who love Hashem, those who come to help the Jewish people, that's like the sun that rises in the morning. That it gets stronger and stronger and stronger until midday. And those who love Hashem, Hashem helps them to get strong. Because why? Because for them Hashem created the world. As the prophet Isaiah says, and your nation are full of tzaddikim, and they will always inherit the earth. So, and the Gemara asks, who are the oyav? Who are the ones who love Hashem? So the Gemara says, Rabbanan Mai, Talmidei Chachamim who engage in Torah. What does it say about them? V'ohavav kitzeis Hashem mishkibur, like the sun that rises, like that. So the level of a Talmud Chacham is much greater than that of even a judge. Because a judge, it says, anyone who does a correct judgment, or let's say Gabei Tzedakah, or someone who teaches little children, they are like the stars up in the heaven. Which is also very nice. But those who learn Torah always, they are called his beloved. They love him, and they come up like the sun as it rises. The rabbis also say, those who get insulted and they don't insult back, those who hear their curses and they don't respond, those who do out of love and are happy with the sufferings they have in life, they are also considered like those who love him and they come out like the sun. So you see, it's interesting that a person who nullifies his own personal desires and only is interested in Hashem, that is the one who truly loves Hashem. Somebody insults you and you'd like to say Lashon Hara back, you just hold it back in. You just do what Hashem wants, you do it out of love. If you're suffering, you're still happy with Hashem. You're a Torah scholar. This is who Dvorah is referencing here. And these were the ones who won the battle. There were Torah scholars who won the battle. Those are the ones who were willing to suffer, willing to go against odds that were, impossible odds. Right? And that's what the Sifri says. It says on the pasuk in the Shema, you're supposed to love Hashem, lahavas Hashem Elokeichem. Just love Hashem. So you might think, I'll learn Torah that I should be rich, I should learn Torah that I should be called a Rebbe, that I should get schar in the world to come. It says, no, lahavas Hashem Elokeichem. Just love Hashem. Whatever you do, only do it out of love. That's all. Someone who has no bias, no side, ulterior motives, that's what Hashem wants. But if you have any ulterior motives, you're not called one who loves Hashem. One who loves Hashem is nothing else. A person willing to go to battle and willing to be killed for Hashem's honor, that's somebody who only loves Hashem. And that's what she is saying. Difference between those. So, when you hear in the UN that they condemn Israel all the time, it's not Israel. They hate God. Straighten out. They hate the God of the Jews. It's a code word. We hate Jews. Whenever you hear you hate Jews, you hate God. That's all there is to it. Because that's what we represent. What do we represent? On a simple level, why would Arabs hate Israel? All Arabs who live in Israel live better than Arabs who live anywhere else in the world. They should congratulate Israel. Teach us how to be better. Teach us how to go into the other Egyptian, Arab countries. Teach us this way that we can help all our Arabs. No. It can't be that you guys can treat Arabs better than us. So why is that? It's because we're Yidden. Because we have a God. Even as far removed as the secular Israeli is, still there's a Yiddish in Hashem. So what do they really hate? They really hate the Rabbi Shalom. And so it'll be. So it'll be to all of them. Every single one of them will be like Sisera. Will be destroyed. And not just I'm destroyed. We'll see more. It's much more insulting the way they got destroyed. But those who really love Hashem, they're going to come out like the morning sun. Now, Rav Dessler points something out very interesting, and it's really in the Targum. The Targum mentions on this part where they come out like the sun. He says, what's going to happen? He says, in the future, they're going to shine. Al chad tlas mea v'arba'in utlosa kemipak shimsha bigvurtei. They will shine in the future 343 times more than here. 343 times. So because you want to, where's that? What's up with the number 343? So if you're a real math whiz, what could you say? 343 from a math point of view. What makes that number unique?
Starts and ends with 3 and there's 4 in the middle.
So you add up to 10?
No, in terms of not square roots, the cubed root. The cubed root, it's 7 cubed. 7 times 3. 7 times 7 times 7 equals 343. So you say, okay, but that's a unique number. You're talking now, it's not stam a number. 7 cubed is 343. Well, now, if you're a Jew, you know that's very important. Because 7 is a very important number in Judaism. Right? You have 7 days of the week, 7 years in a Shemitah agricultural cycle, and then 7 times 7 is 49, and after that is the Yovel. 49 really represents the ultimate in the cycle of the world. The world, in Jewish perspective, goes really, the largest number of the cycle is a 49-year cycle. It's 7 times 7. And we know what that means. 7 times 7, 49, just so we count Sphira. You're taking the 7 Sphiros from Chesed through Malchus, and every one's another aspect. Chesed of Chesed, Gvura of Chesed, Tiferes of Chesed. Each Midah has 7 aspects of it. So you take all the 7 Midas and all the 7 aspects to complete perfect Midos, you need 49. And if people, you can imagine when we lived in Eretz Yisrael, they were aware of every year in the Shemitah cycle. It's like this year is Chesed Sheba Chesed. We're going to spend our whole year of our life cultivating Chesed of Chesed. And the next year, my whole life, Gvura of Chesed. Can you imagine after 49 years? I mean, this was, how many Shemitah cycles does a person live? Not more than one. One complete cycle. One Yovel cycle. One Yovel cycle of 49 years. Not too many people live more than one complete cycle.
Maybe 2, but not 3.
2, even 100 is quite unusual. But a full cycle. So, in other words, that's the ultimate. That's the ultimate cycle is 49. But then when we come to the next world, so Rav Dessler says, that represents a quantum leap beyond that. This world 49 is amazing. If you have a solid 49, shoo, great. The next world is a quantum leap, and it becomes what? 7 times 49. That's a whole new reality that we can't even comprehend in this world. In other words, to take this cycle, it's like, right now, it's a 2-dimensional spiritual growth. Like you've got a midah and how another midah perfects it. It's two-dimensional. Somehow in the next world it's going to be a three-dimensional. We're going to take a whole nother layer of 7. You understand? Which we have no idea what that means. But there's going to be a whole new aspect to take that whole thing and bring it up to higher levels, and that's the 343. And Rav Tessa says in a little paragraph in the 4th volume on page 292 in Michdum Elio, he quotes this pasuk. He says that's what the Targum says. In the next world it's going to be 343 times the way it is now. And so he says, this teaches us that anyone who adds levels in spirituality, in any level, even for, what does that have to do with us in our daily life? So that's wonderful. So we can tell them how we'll enjoy it. So what's the lesson here? He says anybody who increases his level of spirituality, it's not like he's just added a little point to what he has before, but it's a quantum leap. It's a derech hakfela. It's like doubled and more, because whatever level of spirituality that goes up, he says it's like a whole new world. You know, when you decide to take on a new level of spiritual growth, it's not like, oh, I'm like this, like I was before, plus a little more. It's a whole new level. On a simple level, on the point I'm harping on lately. You know, the difference between keeping Shabbos according to the law and keeping Shabbos according to Tikkuno. It's you know, if you're keeping Shabbos by the halachas, that's one level. Well, let's go back. Let's say a person doesn't keep Shabbos, a person does keep Shabbos. On a simple level, it's not like I'm a Jew who wasn't keeping Shabbos and now I add a little point that I keep Shabbos. You can't compare the Jew who keeps Shabbos to the Jew who doesn't keep Shabbos. You can't compare it. It's a whole different world. But the Jew who keeps the laws of Shabbos versus the Jew who keeps the spirit of Shabbos, also can't compare the two Jews. It's not like two Jews sitting together at the same Shalosh Seudos. One is only interested in keeping the laws, and one is interested in what? In really feeling Hashem. It's a quantum leap. It's not like, well, one guy, they're both keeping Shabbos, and this guy's, you know, spending another 20 minutes. It's another 20 minutes of Shabbos. You know, it's not just, you know, the guy who ends Shabbos 20 minutes later, it's not just another 20 minutes of Shabbos. It's representing the person's hope to make a quantum leap different in how he keeps Shabbos. That's what we keep harping. What's the 20 minutes? The 20 minutes represents not just 20 minutes. So you were asking me the question, Shelley, in a nice way. You say to wait. No, I say you're looking at it's another 20 minutes. So what's another 20 minutes? Another 20 minutes of another 24 hours of Shabbos. It's not. It's the person's desire to say, I want that to be really, that the whole Shabbos is a quantum leap. If a person says, you know, it's so hard for me to end the Shabbos, I have to at least end it at least another 20 minutes later. That says that your whole Shabbos was a different Shabbos. That means you really were enjoying every minute of that Shabbos. That Shabbos, you mamish were feeling HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And a person, to the extent one feels it, the longer they're going to delay it, obviously. But the person who senses, I'm here on Shabbos for one reason, to be close and feel close to Hashem. And I want to feel my neshama on Shabbos. So that person, when it was time to, what do I want to end for? Okay, can't take forever, can't take it on to next Tuesday. But at least a little bit more. A little bit more, you know. Which is a quantum leap between when you do a wedding. You're a guest at a wedding, and you're the Baal Simcha. A little different. When there's a quantum leap, the first guy, he'll dance. He'll be happy too. I'm sure if you have a good friend, he's going to happy and dance and maybe even sweat. You know, it's good. But can you compare that to the father of the bride? Father of the bride, this is my whole life. I've been waiting 25 years for this. I've been working hard to pay for this wedding too. I'm the Baal Simcha. The Baal Simcha, he's on a quantum different level. So you could treat Shabbos the same way. You know, Shabbos, it's okay. I'm invited to the wedding. I'm invited to the wedding. But it's not mishpacha. I'm a friend. Because Shabbos, I'm the Baal Simcha. I'm the groom. The bride and the groom. Can you imagine? It's my personal simcha. It's my personal simcha. Then, you know, and we know the person who makes the simcha, you know, the people who come to the wedding says, it's 9 o'clock, it's getting late, I got to go home, I got other things to do. Because it's not my simcha. If you're the father of the bride, they say, I'm going to stay to the very end. They stay to the end. They stay till they take the tablecloths off. And you just sit back and just go, let's just enjoy the moment. And all the guests are gone. It's just a husband, a wife, a couple of kids, a couple of family. Or like in the Hasidic circles, when all the guests leave and just the mishpacha is left, then they have the mitzvah dance. The mitzvah dance, where only in the Hasidic circles they take the kala. Usually you don't dance. The kala has a long string. She holds one end of the string and at a distance, and they dance. And that's only when the guests are gone. Like, you can't even do this, And it's already 1 o'clock in the morning. You gotta go to work. Who's going to work tomorrow? Just had a wedding tonight. I was going to work. What are you talking about? This is the most important day of my life. What are you guys dancing so much for? What are you talking about? It's my daughter. So that's Shabbos. That's 7 times 7 times 7. It's a quantifiable change. It's not just, so you like this wedding a little better. It's a quantifiable. That's what we're trying to achieve, and that's the 7 times 7 times 7. It's not 7 times 7, 49, plus 2, plus 20 minutes. It's not plus 20 minutes, it's times 7. You know what that means? That means the whole Shabbos is a whole new level of Shabbos. That's Oihave Hashem. That's if you love Hashem. It's Kitzeis Hashemesh. It's like the sun that's rising. That's the difference. That's what the Targum is hinting to over here. If you love Hashem, even if you're not called into battle, you're not called into battle. No one asked for you. They're saying, if you're a Jew who loves Hashem, you don't wait to be called into battle. You don't wait to be called into battle. What are you talking about? I love Hashem. Even if I have just a chance to show that I'm standing, and if you need me, I'm there, and I'm gonna cancel all my plans. I'm leaving the farm. I'm standing by. If there might be the slightest possibility that maybe Devorah will then say, Hashem needs a few more, and it's an outside chance. But whatever it takes, I'm going to be there because I love Hashem so much. I don't have to wait to be asked. And as a matter of fact, I said, well, how come I wasn't asked? I love Hashem so much. Why was I not? I want to do that. Instead, what? You want to put your stuff on a boat just in case things don't work out in the land of Israel. I can always go to America. That's the difference. It's not just another 20 minutes. It's not just why didn't we didn't schlep tzachor. It's a question of loving Hashem. A comment or?
I think a good analogy. I expect we'll hear it this Shabbos at Shabbos Shuvas.
Yeah, it could be. It could be the Chazar. Chazar won't.
It's very good.
Why does the Targum introduce this concept here at the
because he's talking about Ohavei Hashem Kitzeis Hashem Ish Bigvuraso.
Why you do it after Yeshua's wars?
No, but this is the first time really that a Navi is mamish depicting what is going to happen to the person that Hashem loves so much.
Because of the shear.
And the shear gets to the core, gets to the bottom of all these things.
What happened to King Yovin?
Yovin? We didn't hear anything more from him.
No, so Sisera was the prince.
We didn't hear anything more from him. Okay, there's still a lot to talk about. We have to talk about the counterpoint between Yael and the mother of Sisera.
Oh,
because at first blush, if you without a shira, you think Yael is one of these women's livers, a Joan of Arc, who she loves to. She always wanted to be a man, right? So she got a chance to kill the guy. In other words, it appears that Yael is like a very insensitive woman, and Sisera, the mother, the crying mother, she cried so much, and it looks that way. So tomorrow we're going to discuss to show it's not that way. We're going to show it's not that way, and we'll see a few more things.
I remember reading